I'm Jonathan. I'm here with my friend Nino, and we're doing the Hot Ones challenge. You're more of a fan of the show than I am, so you want to explain like what Hot Ones is? If anyone doesn't know.
Host Sean Evans does a fantastic job. He's considered one of the best interviewers by all the people that come on that show.
Every episode I've seen, he does a great job.
Yeah, well, the people on the show actually, have been in hundreds of interviews, and they say that. So, but yeah, the whole thing is you eat a wing with a special hot sauce, and they rank 1 through 10, and they get hotter as they go up. All the way from, it looks like it's going to start off at 1,700 Scoville heat units, all the way up to 2.7 million. So it's a pretty big jump between them.
What is a Scoville unit? Do you know what that is?
I believe, I'm not scientifically correct, but it's essentially like the capsation level of it. So it's the actual heat.
The actual heat.
That it provides.
Okay.
So the higher the Scoville unit, the way hotter it is to your...
So if we were to compare it to like habanero or something else...
Yeah, so habaneros can range anywhere from 150,000 to about 300,000, depending on the habanero.
Okay.
Right, where a jalapeno is like way down at the bottom of the scale.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So these are hot.
Very, very much so, especially on that back half. But yeah, you eat a wing, then you get asked a question, and then you answer it while your body is freaking out.
All right, so should we figure out the question first? On the bottom of the screen, you should see we have a wheel of questions. So we have like 20 questions, but we're only going to do 10.
Mm-hmm.
Should we figure out what the question is and then eat it, or should we eat it and then figure out the question?
I'll say you can click the button and we can eat the first wing while it's spinning, honestly.
All right.
All right, so for this first one, we're going to have the classic garlic Fresno Hot Ones edition wing.
All right.
Okay. That's a pretty good wing.
Mm-hmm. I could roll with this hot sauce.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
It's a very mild, beginner flavor. Someone who doesn't really like spice.
I'm eating it like we're really eating. We're supposed to take a bite, right? I'm like I'm hungry. All right. What is your favorite movie theater?
Ooh. Well, for me, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a huge stan when it comes to AMC. Mainly because they have the A-list pass. It's just too good a deal for anybody who really loves movies. 3 a week, $20 a month, any format. So
It is the perfect deal. I was a little disappointed when I was in California that I couldn't use it there. You had to up the
yeah, you have to upgrade. Yeah.
I don't know if you were back in the day. Did you do Movie Pass when it was good?
I did that for a few months, but I was working at AMC at the time.
Oh, so you had free movies anyways.
Yeah, they introduced. I got that, and then they introduced A-list when it was kind of getting towards when it was getting worse.
Well, Movie Pass went out of business, and then they came back, and that's when Stubs came.
Okay.
The first time I had it, you couldn't up the. It was just basic movies, but it was every 24 hours you could get a movie. I saw so many movies with that. And then when AMC came out with theirs, I was like, yeah, I'm doing that. And no one else has a comparable. Like Cinemark has one, but it's like once a month.
Yeah.
And it's like, what am I paying for?
Not only that, but like if you are one of the crazy people who do get concessions every time you go and pay $25 for popcorn and a soda.
The buckets are like $40, right?
I don't even think about it. It's so expensive. We always go to $2.40.
Well, I meant the specialized buckets.
Oh, maybe.
Like the Wolverine mouth one. I'm like, why is it
collector's editions. But yeah, so you do get 5% cash back.
Yeah. And it adds up quick.
It does. So you get those points back, which again, I'm a big fan of. And like I said, I sound like I was paid for this. I promise I wasn't. This is not sponsored. I am just a huge fan. I go to the movies every week, sometimes twice a week. Very rarely 3 times because there's not usually that many movies coming out a week.
Yeah.
But I mean, lately this year's been crazy good for movies.
Before COVID, I would routinely go 3 times a week, but I don't think there's been as many movies out recently. I love AMC. It's the one I go to the most because of the same reason. But there are some other ones like the Angelica is a good theater. I don't know if you've ever been there.
Never been.
But I do a lot of indie film stuff, so I go to these different theaters where people can afford to show their movies. So the Angelica I like because I've seen myself on the big screen there.
Okay.
But the Texas theater is great.
Okay.
It's where Oswald was arrested. My friend, whenever he goes there, he always has to sit in the seat he was sitting in. I'm like, why are you standing, Oswald? It's a little weird. But it's also just like a cool indie theater. Like, you walk in and I don't know what that was. You walk in and it has all these movie posters on the wall and it has a bar and it feels like you're in indie movie head. Like what you would think an indie theater would be like, it's that.
Yeah. So for that scene, it is literally the perfect environment and everything.
100%. And they do show new movies, but it's mostly a revival house. So you go there if you're like, I want to go see Blade Runner on the big screen, or I want to go see this. Parking cell. It is like downtown Oak Cliff, so parking's not great.
Not great.
But the theater itself is awesome.
Okay.
Definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, definitely whatever they do with like another movie that comes back and I'm like, oh yeah, that's like Jurassic Park or something.
That would be where you would go watch it. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what that is.
Cool.
Alright, so.
Alright. So go ahead and remove that one. We'll click the wheel and take a bite. Alright, number 2 here is going to be Double Comfort Foods Seeing Double. The first one was 1,700 Scoville units. This one is 6,200.
Oh, it went up big.
Yeah.
Gotta love the name Seeing Double too.
Mm-hmm.
This is also really good.
That's a good sauce. Yeah. All right. So, what genre of movie deserves more love? What genre of movie deserves more hate?
All right. Okay. So, deserves more love by audiences or by the Academy or?
Well, I'd say by audiences, because critics will always, they'll love or hate whatever it is on things that the audience does not care about.
Yeah.
So.
I think in the era we're in right now, low budget comedies and dramas deserve a lot more love. Okay. They're kind of non-existent. Unless, I mean, like sometimes Netflix will make something, but in theaters, like when's the last time you saw like a low budget gritty drama or a comedy? Like I think we need to go back to those. I miss those mid-range movies.
Yeah, not everything has to be a summer blockbuster.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, I do agree with that. Yeah, you can have regular sales.
You can, and also like. I listen to a lot of things where people in the industry talk, and they're like, "We were all making a good living." They're just now like, "What brings me $1 billion? Why does every movie need to make $1 billion?"
Yeah, that's very good.
As long as you make back your budget plus some, you're doing all right.
Yeah, makes me think back to like the '90s, right, where there was so many movies of every genre you can think of, just all the time.
All the time.
Yeah,
and it's a big reason why Blumhouse works, because they're not trying to make $1 billion movies. They're just trying to make a profit.
Yeah, literally one of my favorite companies putting out movies right now.
Them and A24.
Okay.
A24 I think is the only one doing the type of movies I'm talking about, like the mid-range dramas. Like a couple years ago was it mid-90s, brilliant movie. Yeah. Like I think we need more movies like that. I don't know. What about you?
For me, I'd say movies that deserve. I want to focus more on the hate than the love.
Okay.
Because this is something that's been kind of grinding my gears recently. And speaking of gears, Gearbox, adapting video games, and it could be things like, you know, comics or whatever, but adapting another medium of like animation, comics, or video games into movies, and you're not taking the source material seriously at all, these movies are not made well.
I do think that's one of the things that Deadpool and Wolverine did so perfectly. It was like, let's put everyone in their costumes.
Yeah.
It's like, that's a radical idea. Like,
it wasn't a reinvent the wheel situation. And then most recently, the reason why this kind of like brought this up to me was with Borderlands. I'm a huge Borderlands fan. I've played all of the games. I love the characters. It is fantastic. It's great humor. But the issue is when adapting it to the movie, the casting completely takes you out before you ever step foot in the theater. And if you don't know who the characters were, right? Kate, right, is playing Siren. Well, she's a little older now. Still looks fantastic, but the person is like 19 to 24 in the game. She's not 19 to 24.
I didn't even realize it until I saw that in theaters last night. Eli Roth co-wrote it and directed it. I usually love Eli Roth, and I was like, this does not feel like an Eli Roth movie.
Yeah.
He didn't have any of his real. Do you know who Eli Roth is? Like,
yeah.
I think the last movie came out was Thanksgiving. Like, I was like, he has a certain type of humor, and I was like, I didn't really feel that in this movie. I was completely blindsided when I saw his name. Like,
yeah, and but that's one thing that I feel like I really wish people, again, like with this movie, I don't think it's going to do great on sales, and hopefully it doesn't give them the wrong message that these movies don't make money. It's that if you do them right, they will.
Well, I mean, Super Mario Brothers just did crazy numbers. So, I mean, they can't take this and be like, oh, people don't want video game movies.
Yeah. And but with Mario Brothers, they were pretty good with the source material. Some people complain about Chris Pratt's voice, but I think the story and the characters and everything overall is pretty good.
It is 2024, though. You're going to do the out-and-out insulting Italian accent.
Very true. You can't really just be the stereotypical, it's me.
Yeah, I mean, like, is that really going to fly in today's audience?
All right, well, I'll give you that. All right.
All right, you ready for the next one?
I am.
All right,
what's the next one we got on the list here? Number 3. Fermented kimchi. So previous one 6,200. This one is 18,000. Just triples on us. So.
I don't like this.
Mm. Okay. Oh, that's a good one.
All right. So how do you feel about movie studios basically erasing movies for tax write-offs? I think the most glaring example would be Batgirl.
Yeah, that was like the big one, made all the headlines. People were like, this movie's just not being made now.
And then Wile E. Coyote v. Was it Acne?
Yeah. I will say I probably have the opposite stance of most people. I think that if everyone involved was paid and they did not have a royalty agreement of any sort, where it was like based off ticket sales, based off streaming, etc., or they got paid out on that portion, then I think it's okay.
I would make the argument though that everybody, not everybody, but most people on a film set, while they may not have first runs, generally are immune from royalty. Some people have other things where they'll get money for first runs, but everybody gets royalty after that.
Yes.
So you're still taking money out of their pockets.
Well, and that's why I said if they got paid out on that portion of their contract in some way. If they're writing it off, they should be writing off that portion of those deals as well.
But here's what I would say. It is a business. I'll grant you that. But it is also a form of art. So all of these people are putting their time and energy and love and craft into making this, and then you just erase it. There's something kind of cruel about that.
Yeah, and I will say it's not erased, right? It's somewhere in a vault.
Supposedly Batgirl was erased.
Just deleted.
Apparently.
Okay.
Because that's part of what they have to do for the tax write-off. But I'll also say this, and this is maybe a little radical idea, but if they're writing it off, that means that the taxpayers are then giving them money to compensate for most of the cost of the movie. Wouldn't the logical thing then be for those movies to just go into public domain?
Yeah, that I would agree with. As a part of being a tax write-off, is that movie is no longer under your copyright, etc. etc.
So instead of erasing it, they should release it to public domain. Whoever wants to watch it, go watch it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand how. And then also, people were offering to buy it from them.
Yeah, I did see that a lot for not for Batgirl,
not for Batgirl, but for Wiley.
Yeah.
I think Batgirl just took everybody from surprise. So I think Wiley got more attention because it had just happened with Batgirl, and they're like, "Was this a pattern now?"
Oh yeah, that's true.
And also, Batgirl got a lot of negative press up ahead of time, whereas everybody who had seen Wiley had apparently loved it.
Oh.
So they're like, oh yeah, it was so great. Like it's what you want from a Looney Tunes movie. So I think it had more positive press, but we also can't let this be the stat. Like you're erasing culture.
That is one thing that it can't be a normal occurrence. You can't just have a company be like, hey, let's make this movie. Make sure it's this budget so that I can make sure to write it off.
Yeah,
So.
it's weird business. And I can't think of a time in the history of like Hollywood where they've done that before. Like just writing off movies.
Yeah.
Normally, if a movie doesn't do good, you would just release it quietly.
Yeah, you don't do a huge ad campaign for it. You just let it go out. You go straight to DVD it,
and then it's just gone.
Yeah.
It's such a weird choice. I don't think it's helpful. I think it's bad, and other companies are doing it too, but in different ways. Like Disney will put something out and then just erase it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, how are you just delete? You can't. I don't know. It's just weird to me. And all you're doing is asking for piracy because now piracy is protecting this stuff from being erased.
Yeah, because now it's more of a preservation than it is just getting the content for free.
And I'm not as much into video games as you are, but I've been hearing for a while now that that's the case for ROMs. It's like a lot of these games you can't get in.
Oh yeah, a lot of older stuff nowadays you don't have access to because everything is on either like a Steam launcher, Epic launcher. You can't buy them standalone. And if none of these launchers have that game, then you're kind of SOL.
And it's gone.
Yeah.
Like, and it's weird that we're so okay with letting things. Oh, it's still recording. It's screaming back. It's so weird that we're just okay with letting things that are part of culture just vanish.
Yeah.
Like, when has that ever really been part of society? Like, let things be deleted and erased. We don't need it. It's such an odd premise.
Yeah, it'd be like burning all these books just because you're like, we don't need this book anymore.
Yeah.
It'd be a crazy idea. So.
It would be insane. But all right, let's do the next one.
All right, so last one was 18,000 Scoville. This next one is the hot one sauce, Los Calientes Barbacoa, and it jumps up to 33,000.
I like the flavor.
That's really good. Trying to get more sauce on here.
I think it's the first one that really kind of has a little kick to it, though.
I can feel a little bit of tingling. Okay. Oh, okay. What is the first memory you have of going to the movies?
Alright. I can't remember how old I was. I guess you could figure it out by the movies, but I was going to the drive-in with my mom and her friend, and they were going to go watch Speed.
Okay.
But Lion King had just come out.
Mm.
And so I wanted to watch Lion King. Have you been to the drive-in?
I've been to a drive-in a single time.
Oh yeah, so you know there's a bunch of different screens playing.
Yeah.
So for the whole, I don't remember what the second movie was. I probably fell asleep by then because drive-ins usually do 2 movies at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Although since COVID, that's kind of changed.
So it builds up a little.
It does, yeah. You can feel it when I'm talking. So the first movie, I spent the whole movie sitting at the back of the car, staring out at Lion King at the other theater while the soundtrack or the audio for Speed was playing. Yeah. So I watched Lion King with Speed dialogue and music.
All right. So you got Hakuna Matata playing and they're yelling, "Don't stop the bus!"
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard none of the dialogue or music from Lion King. It was all Speed.
Man. Well, but did you remember enjoying it?
I did, yeah.
Yeah. Now, for drive-ins, right, everything's played through usually the stereo, right? Or how do they do it?
You could do the stereo, but in California, I'm sure I did too, but they might have done away with it because I didn't really see it when I went out there. But they used to have these poles, and you park next to a pole, and on the pole there's 2, one for each car on either side.
Okay.
And this is a little stereo that you could put in your car.
Oh, okay.
So it has wired up. That way you don't have to have your car on the whole for 4 hours, 5 hours.
That makes sense. Okay. For me, I remember it vividly. It literally sparked my love for movies. I was 5 years old, It was 1993, and it was Jurassic Park. What my parents were doing, taking a 5-year-old to the movies, I don't know. I think that's crazy, but I'm glad they did, because nothing just like changed me forever than sitting in that seat. And then the T-Rex scene when he's raining, and the flare, and he just, the first big bellow.
I don't remember watching Jurassic Park in the theaters. I know I probably did as a kid, but I don't remember. But I do remember when they re-released it in 3D, and seeing it with a crowd for the first time, and people jumping, and being like, this is not a horror movie. Why are you jumping?
Hey, I mean, and that's one of the beauty things too, is like when you go to the movies, like, you know, the audience is an experience.
I do. I love that so much more than sitting at home watching it by myself.
And a lot of people don't realize that, like, people who don't go to the movies often, they will really be like, hey, you going to the movies? You going to the movies? You going to the movies? I'm like, yeah, it's an experience, man. Like, you're sitting down in the seat, you got your trailers, next thing you know, everyone's here, something happens, the whole audience is laughing.
Yes.
You know, Deadpool was like that. You had people hollering and...
It kind of changed with The Dark Knight Rises because of what happened in, was it Colorado, Aurora or whatever? But the midnight showings used to be that.
Yeah.
Like, you go to a midnight showing and everybody is just, I don't know, just hyped.
Yeah, the mega fans.
Yes.
You know,
so you're, especially comic book movies, everybody would be cheering, like, ooh, like everything. And it's just like, I miss that to a degree because you don't see it as much. Deadpool did have that.
No, for sure. Yeah, like
Endgame had it. There are some movies after Dark Knight Rises, but Dark Knight Rises for me is the movie that killed it. And it's not the movie itself, although I have issues with the movie itself. But it's that stupid dude and the Joker thing. It was like, let me go shoot up a movie theater.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but yeah, no, they still do them though. They just start at 11 because they still go until like 1 a.m.
Yeah. Well, no, they don't start. They have one at 11. They start at like 7 now.
Oh.
So like Thursday, you can go at 6, 7 o'clock.
Oh yeah, that's when the first showings are.
Yeah, the first showing used to be at midnight.
Yeah.
Now it's like the last showing.
Okay.
I do love though that you and your wife, that's like your guys' favorite movie.
Oh yeah. Both me and my wife, our favorite movie is both Jurassic Park. So
I do love that.
Yeah, we love all of them. Say what you want, we don't care. We're fans. All right.
So you ready?
So this is number 5. This is the final one of the first half. It's Fat Cat Gourmet's Chairman Meow's Revenge. This one jumps up to 54,000 Scoville units.
Before we go.
Okay.
Fat Cat, genius name. Chairman's Meow's Revenge.
Fat Cat Gourmet is the company.
I know.
Yeah.
I love that the company's named Fat Cat and they name their stuff cat puns.
Yeah.
I don't
Now you want to look at the rest of the catalog, right?
I do.
All right. Here we go. I feel like I'm not getting the full experience here.
I will say I feel like the one before I had more of a kick.
Yeah. No, I literally extra dabbed it. And, I mean, I could feel it building up a little, but the other one definitely had more kick to it. Yeah.
That's weird, right?
Yeah, a little weird. All right.
All right. What is your favorite movie format? I'll let you start with this one.
Format. So in this case, it's like 70 millimeter, IMAX, Dolby. Do you prefer, drive-in maybe? Yeah. For me, I will say.
Well, drive-in would be still digital or film. Yeah.
I will have to say it is hands down the Dolby experience.
So you like digital?
Yes, I do like digital. But the biggest part for me is the extra experience. So I don't know if Dolby is exclusive to AMC. I believe it might be.
I've never been to a Dolby that's not AMC.
Yeah, that's not.
I've been to IMAX that's not AMC, but I've never been to Dolby that's not AMC.
But they have the vibrating seats. It's like 64.1 surround sound.
Well, other theaters have 4D movies.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you've ever had 4D movies. First time I experienced was like Disneyland, like a theme park thing, but movie theaters now have it. I know they're in California. I don't know if they're out here. But if it rains, the little sprinkle mist and things like that give you more like you're in the movie. So that is a thing.
Well, I don't know if I want to be misted on, but I do like the extra experience of the movie. Plus, also, it's the size of the screen. It is as big, or if not, the same as like IMAX.
It's about the same. I just saw Borderlands in Dolby, and it's like the difference between that and IMAX is not really noticeable.
Yeah. Okay.
The audio is definitely a lot better.
Yeah, the audio is crazy. IMAX. So that's one of the things I really enjoy is that like extra bit of movie you get out of it.
Yeah.
You know. So
I like 70mm.
Yeah, I know you do.
If I can watch a movie on film, I'm gonna watch it on film. I like the imperfections. I like the little glitches in it. I like the grain.
Yeah.
And I've tried to put grain in things. It never looks right. Like artificially putting grain in
it. Artificial, right? Yeah.
I like film. If I had money to shoot on film, I probably would. Editing on film was a pain. And when I first in middle school, they had us editing on tape, and that was a pain. I can't imagine editing on actual film where you have to cut it and then tape it together. And editing seems like a pain.
Yeah.
But I love how it looks.
That is very true. It doesn't look bad.
No.
It really depends on how well it's done.
And how well it's preserved.
Yeah. So. Digital
is definitely better for preserving. But I like how film looks.
Yeah. Okay.
But I'm a snob. Alright, ready?
Yes. What we got here?
So second row.
Alright, we're on the second row now. This is Onima's 2 MiG. 71,000 Scoville.
Alright. It's kind of a weird taste.
No. Supposed to be aged jalapenos with notes of sherry vinegar. Oh, it does build up a little though.
Okay.
Yeah, I can feel it building up.
Let me build a little bit. Well, I was talking about the taste itself is a little bit.
Yeah. Well, it's aged habaneros and sherry vinegar.
Okay.
Garlic and paprika. Yeah, this one builds up.
I actually think it starts to taste better as it goes too. Like the aftertaste, I think, is a little better than the initial taste.
I do agree with that.
All right. What actor, actress being in a movie is alone good enough to see it?
Ooh, for me, Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd.
I don't know what it is, but like if he is in a movie, I know there's gonna be quips. I know it's gonna be funny, and the best part is that even if it is funny at parts, Paul Rudd has range, and so I feel like he can really like whatever he's in is going to be good.
What do you think his best movie is?
Oh, my favorite movie is probably I Love You, Man.
I Love You, Man is great. I do love that movie.
That movie is slept on. I don't like nobody talks about it.
I watch it all the time.
Yeah, I was like nobody talks about
Jason
it.
Segel.
Yeah. It's like literally like I quote the end of that so far. He's like, "I love you, bro. I love you, bro, Stefano."
I think that was one of the last movies in an era of kind of like romantic comedies as they were kind of dying out.
Yeah.
There was that, She's Out of Your League, like that whole era of movies no one ever talks about.
Yeah.
I think I Love You, Man was the best of that era.
Because it wasn't your traditional rom-com. Because like rom-com, I will say, is one of those things that I typically do not like. Like they're fine, but it's the same format every time. Guy or girl comes to a place from out of town, does whatever they're doing, meets local opposite. Yeah. They start to feel something, they break off, they come back, the movie ends. Every movie. This one follows that same format, but it's between his new best friend that he just made and his wife a little bit. But it's mostly focusing on the best friend, and it's like that aspect of it. So it's literally like a, bro friendship, bromance, if you will.
That's very much so, yeah. Because it's more about him and the two guys than it is.
It's a brom-com.
It's a brom-com.
We need more brom-coms.
Yeah, I kind of miss. I think what Wolverine and Deadpool and Wolverine did so well was they brought back the buddy comedy.
Yeah,
like in the two guys, very different personalities, messed together, going on a trip, like
playing off each other.
Lethal Weapon, Rush Hour. Like we used to get those, and they've kind of been gone for a while.
Say, what's the last like original one that you can like besides obviously Deadpool, but like I'm thinking there was one with Bruce Willis and the guy on 30 Rock. Can't think of his name.
Tracy Morgan.
Tracy Morgan.
You're talking about the original name was A Couple of Dicks, so they had to change it. But Cop Out, Kevin Smith's movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do love that movie. That movie's great.
Like that's the like last one I can remember that was like more original and not
Yeah. So I'm trying to think. Like, I watch pretty much everything, but I can't think of an actor who's like, this one actor is gonna make me go out there. Directors, I can think. Actors, I'm trying to think. Maybe. I can't really. Yeah, that's a hard one. Probably.
Not a De Niro, not a.
Well, the problem is, there are every actor I can think of. I was like, there are movies though that have been such big misses.
Yeah, but you don't know they're gonna be a miss when you go to see them.
That's true.
you only know that after the fact. Hindsight's 2020.
Anything that Sarah Michelle Gellar in, just because Buffy's my favorite show, I generally go watch.
Okay.
Don't necessarily love everything, but I'll go watch it.
Yeah, just in support.
Just in support.
Okay.
Pretty much anyone from the cast of Buffy, I'll go watch anything they do.
Okay.
But this question would be much easier if it was director, because then I could just
What's a director? Like hands down, doesn't matter what it is.
I'm always excited for when a new Quentin Tarantino movie comes out.
Okay.
Like I think the only movie he made that I was kind of disappointed in, which I find weird because it's his favorite movie out of his, was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
That movie is overrated.
It was such a miss.
Yeah, it didn't for me like I watched it because I got all these rave reviews, and obviously it's a Tarantino movie.
He says it's his favorite movie that he's made.
Yeah, and I remember finishing it and being like, what was even the story? What were the stakes? What was any of this mattered?
Yeah, I remember me and my friend, we went to go watch it, and then when we found out where it was going, we were like, is he gonna do the Manson murders? We're seeing the Manson murders? And then it took this weird turn to his alter history thing where the Manson murders are stopped, and I was like, well, that's weird. Like, why?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I'm big fan.
His friendship with Roman Polanski weirds me out a little bit. But I don't know. Any of the cast of Buffy, or Hugh Jackman.
Or Hugh Jackman. Yeah, to be fair, Hugh Jackman again has range.
He does. I loved The Greatest Showman. I thought that was such a great. I'm a musical fan. I don't know if you are, but I thought he did so good in that. And even his weird sci-fi movies. So I'll go with Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman would be my official answer.
Nice. So there you go. you found your way there.
I found my way there.
All right. All right, this is where we start to kick it up a notch. That last one was 71,000. This is Black Eyed Susan's Red Flag. It's 126,000 Scoville.
Red Flag. All right, so it's awarded.
I'll get the heat on right away.
Mm-hmm. It comes in strong.
Mm-hmm. I know looking at my fingers is crazy, but yeah. That one's a little hot out the gate.
I think out of all of them, it has the most kick to it too.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes sense, but some of these haven't really. Some of these didn't feel like they were in order.
Yeah.
Woo. All right. What are your thoughts on remakes? Any remakes better than the original?
Oh man.
This one I feel. I'm not gonna lie. I feel
it's
this
building up too. It's building up. I should not break my fingers.
I ate the whole week.
I mean, I took like 3 good chunks.
I'm like, maybe I should have took a bite. Yeah, okay.
Okay, now we know. That was the warning shot for the next 3. Don't go crazy.
Yeah. Because I feel that one.
Yeah, no, it's still going.
Alright, so remakes.
Remakes.
You got your soda.
No, not yet.
I honestly thought Ariana Grande this. Like, I was not going to phase me at all.
Bro, for these first 6, I was like, I see how she did it so easily.
This one, though, is like, alright, I feel this. Alright.
Okay. Thoughts on remakes? Well, remakes as in like direct one-to-ones, or reboots as in like, they're kind of restarting a franchise.
Okay. So, let's stick to remakes. So, like, Indiana Jones coming back after 20 years. I'm not gonna count that.
Yeah, it's not remake, right? It's technically still a sequel.
Yeah,
Same
Star
actor,
Wars,
same storyline.
not gonna count that. Stick to remakes.
I'm trying to think what even they remade recently that I've seen. Because I would say like most of the time, like the biggest controversial one.
I know we've been doing movies, but I'll let you dip into TV if you find that easier.
Well, to say like the most recent one that actually made a big controversy was like all of these Disney live action remakes, right? Ariel, Lion King, Mufasa's coming up. What else did it have? Beauty and the Beast.
Mufasa wouldn't count. Lion King counts.
You're right, Lion King. Mufasa wouldn't, but Lion King would. So, in the sense that, like, I actually think remakes are fine, depending on how old the movie is. I don't want to see a remake that's done in, like, the last 10 years. But if there's a movie that, you know, looking at The Lion King, came out in, what, 92, 93, somewhere in there. For kids like us, we grew up on that, right? We were 5, 7, whatever years old. And the people nowadays, they didn't get to experience it the same way.
I do hear the argument though, like why do they remake good movies? Why don't they remake bad movies?
Well, if a movie is known to be bad and you remake it, it's not going to have as much hype and love and nostalgia for the people who are older who are going to take their people to see it.
That's fair.
So, but there are other remakes kind of situation like The Mummy with, you know, dude, I can't, this hot sauce is getting me. Tom Cruise.
I've seen. I have not seen the. You're right, getting me too. Hammer Films version of The Mummy. Hammer Films is something that I really desperately want to get into, but it is my weak spot on horror, so I apologize. But I've seen the original Mummy from the 30s. Mm-hmm. I've seen the Brendan Fraser one, and I've seen the Tom Cruise one. A remake done right, the original one's great. That was the cat, y'all.
Sorry. Benny wanted to jump in the video.
The original one's really good. It's really slow. Obviously, it's the 1930s. Light on special effects. Does he do that a lot? Like
what?
Play the piano?
Nope.
Well, that was pretty cool. So the 30s one is cool, but the Brendan Fraser one is a remake done right. I think it's better than the original.
Yeah.
To me it's a perfect movie. The Tom Cruise one is a remake done wrong. So The Mummy's perfect because you can do a good remake and a bad remake.
Yeah, that is very true. Because like with Brendan Fraser, again, it might be nostalgia talking, but I feel like
I rewatched it in the drive-in a year ago.
I feel like it would hold up thinking back on it. One of my first like celebrity crushes was the what's her name?
Oh, yeah, and
the resurrected chick.
Oh, from the second one.
Yeah,
she was gorgeous.
Yeah, like whew. Anyways. Absolutely beautiful.
And the sequel's great too. The only one I didn't really care for was the third one.
Yeah. The Scorpion King, or was that number 2?
No, that was number 2. The third one was they recast his wife.
Yeah.
And then I think he's fighting Jet Li.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember that.
He was like a Asian mummy.
Okay. But yeah, so yeah, Mummy, same way. But again, I feel it's a good point. Remakes can be good. But remakes, you said, better than the original Mummy, right?
Yeah. So Mummy, I think, is one. There's 2 off the top of my head I can think of that I, as a film person, I've never seen. I have one of the original ones on DVD because it came as a 3-pack, but I still haven't seen it. The 2 remakes that everybody knows, everyone's seen, and then once they find out the remakes, they're like, "What is Scarface?"
Yep.
That's a remake.
News to me.
Never seen the original. I don't think anyone's ever seen the original.
Well, the remake is pretty old at this point, so.
And then The Thing. John Carpenter's Thing. I have the 3-piece, so I have the new one. I bought it for the middle one. I have not seen the new one. I have not seen the original. But John Carpenter's The Thing is brilliant.
Yeah, I was gonna say I could see that being a remake pretty easily. Like monster movies in general, I feel like they kind of get that update, that new, fresh take on it. Not always to the best.
but a remake better than the original. Go into the land of TV for a moment.
Okay.
I grew up on the Sci-Fi Channel. Love science fiction.
Okay.
I loved Battlestar Galactica. Was a huge fan. As corny and I rubbed my eye, and now I feel it in my eye. As corny and cheesy as it was, I loved Battlestar Galactica. Of course, I'm talking about the 70s Battlestar Galactica.
Mm-hmm.
And then they announced they were remaking it, and I was like, "Why are you remaking it? You can't do it better." And then they announced that Starbuck was going to be a woman. And from the original series, he was a womanizer. He was kind of chauvinistic, and it's like, you can't make him a woman. That's not going to make sense.
Yeah, that's kind of like the irony of his entire character, right?
Yeah, I was like, you're going to ruin the whole thing. And then I remember sitting down and watching night 1 of the miniseries. I think the miniseries was 2 or 3 nights. By the end of night 1, I was like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. And I have never gone back to watch the original, and I used to love the original.
Wow.
And I've seen Battlestar Galactica like 4 or 5 times all the way through. That's a remake done better. It took the premise of the original one and was like, this is what you should have done.
Yeah, that's very good. I like that. Whew. Okay. Next one is the infamous Da Bomb.
Da Bomb.
This is the Da Bomb evolution. It is not the exact one on the TV show. The one on the TV show uses an extract, if I believe, and this one uses an all-natural version. But still crazy hot. It's 135,000 Scoville units, and it's a banger. So
this is the one that you said that no one likes to taste.
this is the one that everyone hates, but that's because of the extract, I believe.
Oh, okay. I'm not bad.
I can finish this one.
Okay.
You're crazy taking 2 bites on this.
I will say the aftertaste is not great.
No, the aftertaste, it's not good. They weren't lying. This sauce is not made.
I think this is the first. Well, I didn't finish the first one because I was like, oh, I guess I'll just take a bite. But I finished every other week. I can't finish this one. I don't like the taste. Oh, okay. Speaking of reboots, the perfect next question. So they keep trying to reboot the Universal Monster movies. How would you reboot the Universal Monster movies?
Werewolf Dracula. It's hot. Oh, I bit on the saucier side, so I didn't cheat myself.
Okay, it's burning.
This is hot. I might have to dip it here for a second.
I'm looking at that milk.
Bro. No, it matters. It's still going, it's still growing. Oh my god. I think you have to start with Dracula. He's just so old. I mean, they all live forever. Oh my god, this is so hot.
Would you make it modern, or would you make it period pieces?
I'd make it modern. I'd definitely try to do what Universal did and tie them in. But I think you need to tie them in a little bit better than having all one movie, one thing, and introducing the next one at the very end. I think you need to establish the universe. Midway through the film, it's hot.
It is. Did you see the Tom Cruise one?
I did. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. Oh my god.
So, okay, no.
Dude.
Okay. So, I think the Tom... Okay, fuck it.
It's hot, guys. Oh my god, I'm crying.
I was trying to go to 10 without taking a sip, but it just keeps building.
It doesn't stop.
I think Tom Cruise one suffered from the same thing that Iron Man 2 did. And I don't know what you thought of Iron Man 2 when it first came out. But me and my friends were talking about it, and our theory was when it came out, this movie lives or dies on the Avengers.
Oh yeah?
Because I don't know if you remember, no one liked Iron Man 2.
Not really.
And it was trying too much to set everything up. And so my theory was, and having rewatched the first phase again, I think I was right. Iron Man 2, my God.
Yeah.
If Avengers was good, Iron Man 2 was retroactively going to be good. If Avengers sucked, Iron Man 2 would become unwatchable. Because all that movie was set up. I think what you need to do is what the original Universal Monsters movies did and what Marvel did. And have the first movie have nothing. If you start with Dracula, it's just a Dracula movie. You don't have to have all these Easter eggs.
Yeah.
And then the next movie, whatever it is, it could be something as innocuous as one character's crossing over or reports of something happening. Like, so if you start with Dracula, then you just have a Dracula movie. You do Dracula's origins. You do all of that. And then the next movie is a Frankenstein movie. And you have a Frankenstein movie that doesn't have any connection to the Dracula movie. But maybe you have a snippet of conversation about Demetrius. Like, oh, there was this ship that came in and everyone on it was dead. And that's it. Just one little conversation. Just a little hint of a wider universe. And you get 3 or 4 movies under your belt before you're like, let's combine them all into one.
Yeah.
Are you going to survive?
Yeah.
That's how I would do it.
You can't tell me this isn't hot.
Oh, it's hot. I mean, I'm sweating. My nose is running. It's definitely getting to me.
Okay.
I would build it slow. I think all of these people, and I think DC started this trend of let's catch up to Marvel without paying attention that Marvel started slow. And the first time Marvel did a movie where they threw everything in together, Iron Man 2, no one liked it. It holds up better in retrospect because everything else did good. But you can't throw everything in and expect people to like it. You have to build slow.
Yeah, you have to make that first movie a banger so that people will want to see a second movie. And again, in your scenario where they have a second movie that's not necessarily tied in, also has to be a banger.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, each movie has to be good on its own.
Yeah.
And I think the connections need to be subtle and slowly built. My lord.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's one thing that, like...
Are you tapping out or are you going to go to the next one?
With Marvel, too, the way they did it, nobody had that formula yet. But now everybody...
To be fair, though...
They want to skip the formula and go straight into having that universe, you know?
To be fair, though, I will say that's not true. Marvel gets credit for it because they've clearly been the most successful. But Universal Monsters did it. Quentin Tarantino did it. Kevin Smith did it. There were people that have done it. Even, I will say, giving Marvel credit before Marvel credit and DC credit for doing it right. Cartoons have been doing it. X-Men, the animated series, Spider-Man, it keeps coming up.
Yeah.
Fantastic Four, Hulk, Iron Man, all of those cartoons that were being made at the time. And then the whole Timverse, Batman the Animated Series, Superman, Static Shock, Justice League, Batman Beyond. All of those cartoon universes successfully did crossovers without having any real issue with it.
Yes, but in those mediums, obviously, like the Universal Monster movies, they're a bit older. You have, all those Batman and all those other animated series doing crossovers, but to reach the wider audience, I feel like the one reason that people attribute that to Marvel is because they made comic books cool again, right? They made all these characters that nobody heard of or knew of or anything like that. They made people care about them.
I will say, Marvel, there's
the general populace, obviously people cared about them.
Well, and what Marvel did is what's insane that DC failed so hard is that if you look at the cast that Marvel, not the cast was great. The cast, I think, is what saved it. John Favreau fighting for Robert Downey Jr. Is what made Marvel.
Yep.
But the characters they used, it's going to seem wild now because everybody knows these characters. But Iron Man was lucky if he was classified as a C-list character.
Yeah.
Guardians were a D, if not E-list characters.
Yeah.
Captain America in the 40s was an A-list character, but for most of his run, maybe a B-list character.
Yeah.
They didn't have their headliners. For most of the 80s and 90s, X-Men alone outsold every other comic book company on the planet.
X-Men in the 90s was a behemoth.
Marvel didn't even have the rights to them. Spider-Man is their A-list character. They didn't have the rights to the Hulk. They did make a Hulk movie with Universal's input, the Norton one, which was alright.
I felt like it was better than the one that came before it, Hulk 2000.
Way better.
Hulk 2000 was one of those movies you kind of just don't talk about. But I was really...
Making the Absorbing Man his dad was such a weird choice.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people were also surprised because Edward Norton, big actor.
Well, from what I understand, is Ed Norton kept tinkering with the script.
And I could see him doing that with the way he is. So.
I think recasting Ed Norton was the best thing the MCU did. Nothing against Ed Norton, but he's too much of a control freak.
Well, not only that, but I also feel like he's also... There are certain actors that when they play a role, you can't see the role, the character, you see the actor. Like Will Smith.
Yeah.
Will Smith playing any kind of, look at Kill Squad or Suicide Squad.
When he played Deadshot.
Yeah.
Which was such a weird casting. Will Smith is Deadshot.
And that's the thing is, he didn't seem like Deadshot. He seemed like
Will
Smith
I've never
playing...
seen Will Smith play a villain.
Yeah.
I bought him as Hancock more than I bought him as Deadshot.
Yeah. Anti-hero, sure, but
not full-on villain.
All right. Now, I want to say that...
Did you answer the question or how you were doing it? Okay.
Yeah. I said that I would have more build-up.
More build-up. Okay.
Like for you, your answer was movie with like a reference to this one and then building on these two.
Yeah.
Mine was movie, but introduce a couple characters in the movie.
So doing what they've been trying to do, but a little more subtle.
Yes, but you
want to Phil Coulson.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
I'm sorry, you did say that, and now I remember it. This hot sauce
I'm telling you. I know I took a couple of sips, and he took his one sip, but I promise you, I'm not weak. It's just that sauce was kicking.
I will say, I feel like the front of my face is on fire.
Yeah, my lips are tingling.
My nose is on fire.
Yeah.
I don't even understand how that happened.
It's red too. So. Okay, so that sauce, for the record, the one that actually started messing with us, 135 Scoville units. High River, peppers up, 700,000. We're going from 135 to 700,000 on this sauce.
And I didn't even finish the last
So
one.
if you think you're gonna finish this one or take multiple bites, props to you, dog. You ready?
All right. I think this is the first time in my life I'm actually nervous.
I really like the flavor. I'm afraid to take a second bite. Oh, you took a second bite. I gotta take a second bite too.
This one doesn't feel hot.
Grab the soft bottle. Do a dab. Am I growing?
Oh no, I taste it. I'm afraid.
I think it's growing.
Because I definitely taste the flavor. It just doesn't feel as... Maybe this one was just too hot.
I think that the bomb just gets you. All right, we're going for a third bite. Yeah, for it. Oh, you're killing me.
All right. What is the perfect movie, and what makes it perfect to you?
Man. Perfect.
It doesn't have to be your favorite movie.
Yeah. Okay. To me, a perfect movie, one example, in my opinion, is Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump is what I would consider a perfect movie.
Ironically enough, my movie has the same director.
It has a beginning, it has a middle, it has an end, but the pacing is perfect. You're interested at every single point. There's no like lulls. You're not sitting there like, oh, okay, well, this is just like the filler section.
There's no downtime. It's such a weird premise that if you were to just explain Forrest Gump to me, I'd be like, that sounds like the stupidest movie on the planet. But then when you watch it, you're never bored. You're entertained. It is well crafted, well made. Question.
Yeah.
Because I saw this argument on Threads and I was thinking all these people are morons.
This one does grow.
Is Jenny the villain or is Jenny a victim?
I think she's both. Well, okay, I wouldn't call her a villain. I would say that...
I 100% would call her a villain.
She is definitely a victim, obviously, of home abuse, ran away,
But does being a victim give you the excuse? Okay, now I'm feeling it.
Yeah,
To victimize somebody else, especially someone who's clearly mentally disabled.
No, and that's the thing is that what she did was wrong, but I feel like her actions stemmed from her own issues that were never dealt with.
But to be fair, just throwing this out.
Immoral.
Most
wrong.
abusive people were abused. I don't think that justifies their abuse.
I think to be a villain, you have to intentionally want to hurt or inflict that pain on somebody. Inflict that evil on someone. To be a villain.
All right.
What she did was wrong. She wasn't a good person.
I guess it's a fine distinction. But okay, I will grant you. I don't think she was malicious. In her
I don't think she was like Forrest Gump.
I think she was intentionally using him for her benefit. Not like to make herself feel better about herself.
But to have that safety net and like that, hey, I always have my friend to fall back on.
But I guess it wasn't malicious.
Yeah.
It was more about, I need someone to make me feel better, not I want to hurt
very selfish character.
I'll give you that. So I guess if that's your distinction between villain and just shitty person.
Yeah. Like, I don't agree. She's not a good person, but to be a villain to me, it has to be malicious. It has to have intent.
Okay. And I don't think she was malicious.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the way I look at that.
So that's your idea of a perfect movie.
Yes, like Forrest Gump, just perfect. There's literally like no point in the movie where I'm sitting there. I would never like if it came out today and I was watching it. I would never pull up my phone during a small like a lull section. There's movies like that. If you watch something on Netflix or any other streaming service, there are parts where you pull up your phone, you check out some stuff. All this stuff is happening on screen. It captures you. You don't want to look away.
So Robert Zemeckis.
Yep.
My perfect movie is also a Robert Zemeckis movie. Do you want to guess?
No.
Back to the Future.
Okay. I should have guessed that. I should have known, honestly, because between us, we're very good in the fact that it's like past versus present. And like while he does enjoy things that are modern as well, I'm definitely more modern and you're definitely more past. So we have that, kind of duality between us, and I should have just guessed that.
Back to the Future for me is a perfect movie. It's and what I love about it is like Forrest Gump, there's nothing boring in it. It's consistent all the way through. But also what I love about it, and I see so few things that do this so well, is the foreshadowing. Everything that happens in that movie, I am drawing a blank on it's named after a Russian dude and it has a gun in the title. I can't think. There's an old rule when it comes to writing, named after this. Karloff's gun, something. People are gonna know it. I just can't think of it off the top of my head. But basically says, if in the first chapter you're like, I looked at my gun on the mantle. If you don't use that gun by the end of the book, why the fuck was it mentioned in the first chapter?
Yeah.
Back to the Future doesn't reference anything that's not used.
Yeah.
First scene, him strumming on the guitar. But the guitar is the ending of the movie. Like, everything is built upon. And to me, it's just like, this movie is something where, in the writing of it, they just kept going back and like, let's make it better. Let's make it better. Let's make it better. Hey, that thing here, let's set that up in the beginning. Let's connect these things that don't fit. Let's connect them together.
Yeah. Very good.
And I don't think enough movies do that. And Back to the Future just did that. Everything had a purpose.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but there's footage out there of the original actor. And my God, that movie would not have been made. He played it like a drama.
Oh.
Like so serious. Like, I'm scared. I'm in the past. I'm fucking up my future. And like just terrified. And it's like, this movie works because it's fun.
Yeah, it's a fun adventure movie.
Yes.
It's not, it's supposed to be like, you're along for the ride.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for me, that's why Back to the Future is, you can't find a fault in that movie.
But so I guess we can both agree then too, especially with the same director, is that one of the things that make a perfect movie is the pacing.
The pacing, yeah.
Right? There's no lulls. And two, obviously, like the story keeps you in the action, keeps you following along, interested that whole time. And you can say that for anything, but a perfect movie hits it at the perfect time throughout the
and everything's consistent.
Yeah.
And Forrest Gump, he's doing all of these things that have no connection.
Nothing.
But Tom Hanks's portrayal of it ties it all together so well.
Yep.
Like, I don't know. if anyone but Tom Hanks could have been Forrest Gump. Look, I'm Tom Hanks. For my money, is a perfect actor.
Yeah.
I can't. It's really hard for me to find someone who, in my esteem, that would have been a better answer than Hugh Jackman. It's Tom Hanks. I can't think of an actor who is better than Tom Hanks. Like, he always nails the role.
That is true.
He would have been a better answer than Hugh Jackman. I don't know why I didn't think of Tom Hanks. He just slipped my mind.
It's okay. They know your previous answer and now you can edit it. So it's okay.
But Tom Hanks is like, he nailed that Forrest Gump role.
Yeah. Like, he literally, especially because, they do the Tropic Thunder, right?
Yeah.
They say, never go full retard. In that movie, and because they made the parody of that.
Yeah.
But he did play the role of someone who was a little slower or had a mental disability. Perfectly.
He was so earnest.
Yeah, and I think that was the key point.
It never came off as insulting or belittling.
Yeah, he was just honest, genuine, told his story. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's just innocent.
Yeah. Because you could have done that movie as a parody and it would not have worked. It would have just been mean.
Yeah. And people always say, like, Forrest Gump is either the luckiest man in the world or a savant genius. Like, like he's just a genius savant. Just, you know what I mean? Like, he just knew everything to do at every moment.
He did. But I think that's cool that we both had Zemeckis movies.
All right. The Final Wing. I will have to say, the bomb definitely overshadowed Pepper's Up on us. But the last
I'm
wing,
still filling the bomb.
There is tradition, grab that bottle, to do a last dab.
All right.
On the wing. This is Hot Ones, the last dab experience. All right, this is like the upgrade. It's 2.7 million Scoville units.
The last one wasn't even a million.
Wasn't even. It was 700,000. So we went up 2 million on this one. Yep. And then this one.
We died.
And this one is made from over 91% of Guinness World Record breaking Pepper X sauce. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look. We're going to do a little dab, just a little. We're not going to go crazy here. I'm being very gentle. Oh, okay.
All right, you can dab mine too. I'll trust you with it.
All right. All right.
All right.
I'm going to go ahead and wipe this off here. All right, what do we got? Oh, actually, hold on. Let's eat this wing first, and then we'll look at the question. All right, last dab experience.
You ready?
Cheers.
Cheers.
That was a good bite. All right, man.
That was good. Why is the bomb not the 10th one? Do they ever explain why the bomb is not the 10th one?
I think because of how hard in the build up, this one's building up. You don't put your climax at the end of the movie.
That's true. That's true. But it also makes me wonder, are these accurate then? Because where's the bomb at?
This was building
the bomb. How is the bomb 135,000 and this is almost 3 million?
Is it not building to you?
It's building a little bit, but it's not the bomb.
Yeah, this is building. It's not stopping. All right, the question we have.
Are the Oscars still considered prestigious awards? Are they even relevant? Oh, it's building on the tip of my tongue.
I got the sauce. I had the sauce lit. I would say no, to me personally. I can remember the last time that something won an Oscar made me go back and watch it.
Guillermo del Toro's Creature from the Black Lagoon movie, whatever that one was called. that was the last time something won an Oscar, and I was like, you know, maybe I should go watch this. But mainly it was just because it was him, and I couldn't think of another time when a creature film won an Oscar for Best Picture. So that would be
okay. What was that? Dude, how he's building. I don't know why I took extra bites like you.
Definitely pre-COVID. But I think that was the last time. But I don't think they're relevant. I don't think they really. I don't think they're as important as people give them credit for.
Yeah.
I don't, as a viewer, and even as a filmmaker, I don't look at movies and be like, did this win an Oscar? I think horror is vastly underrated in the Oscar categories. So.
This one earned its spot.
I don't know, it's not the bomb.
You should get him out. Yeah, like, I think the moment I stopped caring about Oscars at all was when Leo won his first one for The Revenant.
I still have not seen that.
It's no bother. It's not even that good. Oh my god. Oh.
Yeah, I don't think the Oscars really are as important as they say. And
Give me a tissue.
you give me one too, please. Oh. And I feel like they're not relevant. Like, I feel like they don't. I feel like they're bought.
And that's what I think too. Is a lot of people know that these are everything's in house. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
My nose is running. Oh, excuse me. Are you going back to do the list except for their bomb?
I skipped the bomb.
Yeah.
I'm just finishing the wings.
Oh.
But.
Woo.
I finished all of them with the bomb.
So it goes to show.
I do feel like it's just companies getting advertisements.
Is there any recent movies at the Oscars that earned one that you felt was kind of like that maybe earned a lot that you didn't think was like, I don't think it deserved that many?
To be honest, for the past couple of years, I don't even know what won.
Everyone in the comments are gonna roast me. They're gonna kill me. But Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
I love that movie.
I'm not gonna lie. It won so many awards. It got such a huge rave rating from everyone, from the critics to the people. And I feel like a lot of it was echo chamber because when I watched the movie, while it was enjoyable, I did not see it.
I disagree. I thought that movie was brilliant.
Like, the story was so off the wall, which wasn't a bad thing. But for the average person, I could see it even being hard to follow. But I think the actors and actresses carried it so hard than the movie
Finished the
premise
bomb
itself.
I had no problem following the movie. I thought it was pretty straightforward.
Yeah, but we're all, you're smart. You're a smart guy.
Well, also, the first show I ever nerded out on was Sliders.
Okay.
Huge comic book fan. So the multiverse has always been something that I've loved and been fascinated by. So a movie that dips into the multiverse is never gonna. I'm gonna need one.
I was gonna say, you finished the bomb, yeah.
It's never gonna be something that I push back against. And so I've always loved following multiverses. And I thought the way they did it of every multiverse, it goes back to Futurama. You watch Futurama, right?
Yep.
So there's an episode of Futurama where they find a parallel universe where everything is just the flip coin is different. And I love that. I was like, it's just weird. And there's a theory of multiverse that every time you make a decision, something veers. And that's all Everything Everywhere All at Once did was every time you make a decision, we branch a new universe.
Yep.
But some people have the ability to connect with those other branches. I was like, okay, that's a cool premise. And then once you follow that, everything just kind of makes sense. It's all very linear.
Yeah. But again, for the average person, all they're seeing is people like, why is this person going back here? Why is this person doing that? Why is there all of a sudden everybody in this spot?
Why are they rocks?
Yeah, like, you know, it was, like I said, I liked the movie. It was a good movie. Don't get me wrong. I just felt that the amount of talk and hype and awards and everything else that I saw, I expected more. And the Oscars kind of will do that. People who nowadays will be like, oh, I'm gonna go watch this all the Oscar selections.
Did it win Best Picture?
It won like 12 Oscars or something. Like, it won a lot.
I will say though, one of the reasons I don't really care for the Oscars is because they don't give it to genre films, sci-fi, horror.
Yeah.
And the fact that that's a genre film that won so much, I do actually enjoy.
Yeah. And that's one thing too that the Oscars I feel like need to do is that they do need, obviously, like, you don't have to categorize, you can have the main categories, but still have these ones given out, is for like best horror movie. Especially nowadays, horror is coming out all year long. It's not just a, you know, November, October, November thing anymore.
No, it's the only one where you can make a low budget movie and make 3, 4, 5 times your budget.
Yeah. Blueroof. I mean, they're just killing it.
I do think the Oscars also need to do a better job with giving other departments screen time. They give Oscars for stunt doubles, for special effects and all that, but they don't air it. And I think that's kind of messed up.
It is, but it's already a long show, and you have all these main categories, which is what I just mentioned too, is that I want these other categories to be there. They don't have to be on the main stage with a, you know,
That's
big introduction speech and all this and that. Like,
being someone who's been on sets, you can't do a film without these people. So I think they should get their moment in the sun too.
yeah. Well, and that's the thing too. You have to think about music the same way. People win Grammys, but they're not Drake. They're not Kendrick. They're not going up on stage. They're not Taylor Swift.
I mean, Ray Vaughn has Grammys.
I was gonna say, we know somebody who has a Grammy.
That's true.
Yeah. But he's not. He's
99% of people be like, I don't know who that is.
Exactly.
But they'll know the Grammys he has.
Exactly. But if he tells you what the Grammy's for, you're like, oh, you worked on that. Congratulations. Yeah. And I feel like that's good for the person who's working on it to be acknowledged. It's better to have the category and give the award than to not have anything.
That's fair.
So.
Well, this was hot.
Yeah.
I will 100% admit that I came into this way cocky. he did say on the Ariana Grande one, like, oh, the people who think they're going to do good don't do as good as they thought. I thought I was going to have no problem with this.
Yeah.
And I am feeling it.
And I was a little bit the opposite. I thought that by Wing 5, I was going to be really feeling the heat. But I feel like the first time it really got me was the Bomb. Bomb lived up to its infamy. As well as the Hot Ones Last Dab experience. The flavor was actually good on that one.
The Last Dab one didn't really affect me too much.
I don't know what I did different. Maybe it was the dab, maybe it's the way I ate it. Because like the dab part went like this, and I like rolled it along.
You had
my
a lot
tongue.
more dab than I did.
Oh, okay. I thought
when you poured yours, it just spread.
Yeah, like it spilled down the side. I put the whole dab like across my tongue like a roller, and it definitely built up. But it wasn't as bad as the Bomb in the sense that like the heat was the same.
I'm just shocked that that one is so much hotter.
I think if you actually if you want, go ahead and just put a little bit on your pinky even and put it on your tongue.
What, the last one?
No, the second to last one. So you can see if there was actually like a heat thing. Maybe it was the way the wing absorbed it. You know what I mean?
I just feel like the Bomb is so overpowering.
And yeah, it is. It is. It definitely it comes at you immediately and it just grows.
I guess what I'm saying is, so this last one was almost 2.7 million.
Yeah. And
the Bomb was like 135,000. I don't buy that. That had to have been hotter.
Well, maybe when they base it, it's based off of the initial.
Okay.
When it touches you, it doesn't count on the build factor.
Okay. Because the Bomb's initial taste isn't anything.
Yeah.
It's like after finishing the Bomb right now, I'm just now starting to feel it.
Yeah, it grows for minutes afterwards.
I'm going to spend the rest of the day crying, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
But I finished all the wings.
Congrats. Good job. Fantastic. Eating the bomb. Next level.
I had to take a sip of milk before doing the bomb, and then another one afterwards. I had to surround it with milk.
This is it's not finished. I didn't finish it, but it definitely helped a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I was surprised. I was like,
but this was fun. What do you think was the best tasting one?
Ooh, best tasting one. I really like the Hot Ones Los Calientes Barbacoa.
The fourth one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my favorite.
Yeah, number 4 was really good. And then I'd have to say number 1. Like, it's not hot, but the garlic Fresno edition classic hot sauce, it's not hot at all, but the flavor was fantastic.
Yeah.
But if you want a little bit of heat and a very good flavor, that barbacoa was fantastic.
I felt like the barbacoa one was the best tasting. I think it was better than number 1.
It was better. It was better, for sure. It was the best one overall. It'd be like a go-to sauce that you put on something.
For sure.
Yeah.
The bomb I would just bring out
as
to
a
show off
device.
to people. Well, just to show off, like, I can eat this. Can you eat this?
They wouldn't know if they can eat it until they try.
So you bring it up to enemies.
Yeah, you put it on something while they're like without them knowing. You make a burger and then you just put the bomb on top and then put the bun on, and then watch them.
Well, see, now I'm gonna have to buy myself the set and then just a little for all of my food, put the bomb until I'm desensitized to it.
I don't know if that's possible. I don't think you could be desensitized. I think I was like, desensitized in the sense that you would get used to it.
Yeah.
You'd be like, well, I'm used to getting burnt off my face.
Although, but then I think it would also screw up my palate for any other hot sauce ever.
And that's the issue with the bomb is I feel like, especially in this order, is that second to last one is hot. I could feel it, but after the bomb grew to its peak, and then it came down a little bit, and then having that, it just kind of lined up with it.
Maybe if we ever do this again, the bomb gets 2 questions to give more time,
or
to clear your palate,
or we do it in reverse. We do it in reverse.
You start with 10.
You start with 10, and then work your way down to the easy one so that you can recover.
All right, I can see that.
By the time you're done, you're like, oh, thank God.
Well, there's any of these you would never eat again.
Well, the bomb, I don't feel like I would eat intentionally. If I'm doing another challenge and it's in it, I'll do it. But I would never put this on something intentionally. I will say it was very hot, but now that I'm thinking back on the experience, I kind of liked it. I kind of liked that it grew so hot. I was dying.
The bomb for me, though, would be a game night thing. If you're playing with people who don't want to drink, like you have some friends who are alcoholics or whatever, not a shot of the bomb, but like a dab.
Yeah, like literally just finger licking. That's it. Just
I feel like that's what the bomb is for.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, you got to take a shot. And they're like, I don't drink alcohol. Well, you take a dab with the bomb.
Take a dab with the bomb. All right. I'm trying to think of any of the other ones that were like... I don't think I'd have the fermented kimchi again either. I wasn't a big fan of that.
Which one?
Fermented kimchi, number 3.
I was so excited for the punny cat one. I didn't think that one's taste was all that great.
Yeah, he uses Trinidad scorpion peppers. Doesn't say what else is in it. But yeah, I felt like that it was a good flavor.
I thought the flavor was a little underwhelming.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. There's a lot all at once, so.
I liked, I can't remember. It was either 6 or 7 I liked as well. But I can't remember which one.
No, you did not like 6, because that was the one with the aged habaneros and sherry.
So I think 7 I liked. You're right. 6 was the one I thought was the worst tasting out of all of them.
So the black-eyed Susan red flag is what he's talking about. It has sweetness from muscadine grape juice and raspberries, and it balances out the spice of the scorpion peppers.
I thought that one was pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, you're right. 6 I thought was the worst tasting.
yeah. You immediately were like, no.
Yeah.
Outside of the bomb.
Well, the bomb's taste is kind of bad too. Yeah, you're right. That's the worst
aftertaste
taste.
was terrible.
It was terrible. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it doesn't have an initial taste.
No, it's the
aftertaste.
aftertaste.
The aftertaste is not good. And then you're dying.
And I'm still feeling it. My face is on fire.
Yeah.
Me and Zelda are going to do a couple pods. Are you going to join us for that? Or?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Well, I know that whole podcast, I'm just going to be dying.
So you can take a minute to recover, I mean.
Oh, yeah, that's true. But all right, I'm Jonathan.
I'm Nino.
All right. Give us legends.